Good. Good afternoon. Happy Halloween. Thank y'all for being here. We are off a bye week. Seems like a long time since we played. I think when we hit Saturday, it'll be 17 days since the last time we suited it up. Weird schedule. 2 games in 28 days. Productive bye week. Totally different approach than we had the last time coming off the Idaho trip. Five games under our belt. 3 long trips. We really focused on getting well, refreshing our body and mind. This last week, I should say, in the bye week, we really practiced hard, focused on getting better. Felt like we've got to continue to make improvement. Us in our current state is not good enough to reach our goals, and don't feel like we've played our best against Georgia State or against South Alabama. So we practiced hard and felt like we made some good strides. And like I said, we've got to continue to get better. Looking forward to getting back out in front of our home crowd. One thing I want to hit on is you guys that are around here stay late on Mondays. Is we always practice on Monday, and at the end of our Monday practice, we keep a crew out there of red shirts, young guys that we're trying to get reps. We call them the Monday Night Football crew. And during bye weeks, we always get a lot of work with those young guys and some standouts. I just want to mention them before we get into UMass. Defensively, guys that had big weeks last week, and we're excited about the future for them. Jeremiah Jones, Walter Pritchett, Gabe Keenan, and then offensively, B.J. Smith, Clark Quisenberry, and Tristan Crowder. All 3 of those guys on offense and 3 of those guys on defense had big weeks last week. But like I said, we're excited about getting back out in front of our home crowd. Feels like it's been a while. And UMass coming in, improving team. I think if you look at they played as difficult a schedule as you're going to have. They're playing as an independent this year. Several close losses to some really good people. They're going to be very well coached. Good challenge. I think last year, if you look at them, they got better as the year went. Had a couple wins down the stretch, and obviously coming off a win last week, I think that's that same path they're taking. Personally for me, UMass special place. That's where I finished my career. I have two degrees from there. The head coach there, Mark Whipple, is the guy that I played for. Huge influence on me, not only professionally, hiring me as allowed me to come up and really develop probably as a man, going away from home for the first time and giving me that opportunity to play at UMass, and then professionally hire me as a graduate assistant. And so huge role model for me, mentor for me, however you want to say it. Played a huge role in my life. Their director of operations there, Paul Gorham, hired me for my first full-time job at Sacred Heart. Probably grew professionally more in that year as a quarterbacks and receiver coach there at Sacred Heart than I did at any point. And then several other guys on staff that I either played with or GA'd with. And so this game and this program will never be about me. It's but UMass is a special place for me. But this is about our players, and thank goodness I'm not going to play because I don't know how that would turn out. But moving on to them offensively, Mark Whipple, their head coach, calls their plays. He does a tremendous job. I think he's a gifted play caller. Puts a lot of stress on defense. We're going to see a lot of things this week that we haven't seen so far. A lot of formation in the boundary, unbalanced sets. They do a great job of creating big plays down the field in the passing game. Their quarterback Ford is a lefty. He's been impressive since he got into the starting role. Thrown a lot of touchdown passes, minimal turnovers. The running back Young is solid. I know he didn't finish the game last week. As I understand, he'll play this week. He's really good in the passing game as well. The tight end Brenneman is a special. I think he's a guy that's going to play at the next level. Very talented, 100-plus yards receiving last week. And they've got another receiver, Isabella, who's smart, shifty. They use him in a lot of different ways. Defensively, a lot of respect for their defense coordinator, Tom Masella. They give you a lot of different looks. They create a lot of negative plays. You look at their stats, a lot of tackles for loss, a lot of sacks, solid inside. I think those guys use their hands real well. Again, well coached. Their leading tackler, number 34, I don't want to say his name because I'll mess it up, I'm sure, but real active. They use him in a bunch of different ways. He's a solid football player. 41, Downey is a pass rusher that comes off the edge, got great ball get off. He's been able to rush the passer and get to the quarterback against everybody they're playing from Florida to South Carolina, Mississippi State, and on. At safety, they've got a number 21, Bailey Smith, who's around the ball a lot, can run, was a really good kickoff returner last year. And they've moved their pieces around a lot in the secondary, and I think what you've seen, I think they found a rhythm. They're playing a lot better there in the back end over the last 2 or 3 weeks. Special teams-wise, their punter is really talented. talented. He's somebody that we've got to account for. He's done a good job flipping fields. And this is something we don't talk about a lot that's very underrated. Their long snapper is really good. I think he's a 3-year starter, and he's really good. And then they've got a kickoff returner named Rogers, who's a true freshman that's fearless there, that'll hit it up the middle and does a nice job. But we're ready to get back to work. 34 days left in our season. Today till the Georgia Southern game, 34 days, and seasons are made in November. So I think the narrative on our season is yet to be written. We're obviously off to a good start. We're proud of that. But from here on out, what's going to be the tail of the tape for us. So with that, I'll take questions.
How are you health-wise coming off of the South? I know we saw DeAndre get shaken up, Justin Lucas get shaken up, but you had a full week of rest.
Yeah, I think other than the guys that have been out, we'll be at full force going into this game, and we should be as healthy as any point we've been during the season.
Do you think that the second bye week may have stopped a little momentum, a huge win over South, and now you have this long stretch?
Well, that's the hand we're dealt. So I don't think it does any. It's an odd schedule. We're play 2 games in 28 days, and both those games happen within a 5-day window. So it's an odd schedule, but that's what we're dealt with. We just take it and move on. We didn't play particularly well against South, or against Georgia State. So it's not like we were just playing well and had it stop. I think a little bit of that happened coming off that Idaho. We were playing better at that point in the season, so it was good for us last week. We were physical in practice. We came out and really focused on the things we feel like we got to do to be able to beat the people left on our schedule.
What brought about the change with this bye week compared to the last one?
Yeah.
Kind of got a little healthier last time, went a little harder this time. What brought about that change?
Well, just the way it laid out. We go back and Todd Watson, who's our director of operations, he and I spent a lot of time really in May while the coaches are on the road recruiting, laying out a plan for the season. We had 3 long trips in the first 5 games. Idaho, Clemson, Southern Miss. Those were all night trips that we got back really early and on Sunday morning, and we played some physical football games within those 5 games. So we knew we needed to get healthy and get rest. So this week, the last week in the bye week, totally different scenario. We played 2 games, but we're coming off a previous bye week, and just looking ahead to what we had coming down the road, we felt like we had to make some improvement. It couldn't be just a get bye week. It had to be a week where we got better.
You say 2 games in 28 days. Now you have 3 in 12 days.
Yeah.
I mean, how does the game plan shift?
Well, I think what happens is you basically really the only abnormal game is that Thursday night against Arkansas State. So I think what you do is you just go into it. We're preparing this week the same as we normally would. The App State game we'll prepare normal, and then we'll see where we're at that Sunday morning, and then have a plan going into that Ark State on a short week.
Can you speak to the atmosphere the fans and the students created down in Mobile?
Yeah, that was tremendous. Jerry, I think that was the best road showing that we've had in my 6 years here at Troy, without question. I want to see the same energy, enthusiasm, and that's going to be my challenge to my students, our students here, as we get back on campus later in the week and start forming our message to them. But we, I want to see that same energy and enthusiasm transferred here. We've got a big game here on Saturday, an opportunity to get to 7-1 at home. We've got 3 home games in a row, this game and then 2 crucial conference games. So we need to bring that same energy and enthusiasm from the students, and hopefully it'll spread throughout the whole stadium and create a really big home atmosphere here for the next 3 weeks.
Is there a different focus that this is a non-conference game really late in the season?
No, I don't think so. I think our approach has been really, in the 2 years I've been the head coach, is we're treating them all the same, and we don't ever spend a ton of time on our opponent other than schematically what we're going to do. We really focus on ourselves, and right now we have a good idea offensively, defensively, special teams, where our strengths are, what our weaknesses are, what are the key areas we've got to do to continue to prove, to continue to get the results that we've been getting. So that's what we're focused on. UMass happens to be our next game. It happens to be a non-conference game, but the preparation's the same, just like it would be a league game.
The big thing on social media right now is this big Rank Troy movement that's been going on by fans. Just what are your thoughts on seeing that from the fans?
Yeah, I'm pro anything that's going to get our name out there. I'm pro exposure. I think the ranking is going to take care of itself. If we continue to produce, if we continue to win, we continue to play at a high level, then that's something that's a byproduct of those things. And I'm not sure the AP poll voters or the coaches poll are necessarily paying attention to them, but it's a fun thing on social media. And like I said, I tell our guys all the time, social media, all it is about spreading your brand. And in the Troy, I think anytime the Troy football brand is out there and it's gaining some attention, I think that's a positive.
You see 20 votes this weekend that are in the AP poll. You think kind of guys are getting the respect that?
Well, I don't know. It's been so long since we played. Honestly, it's been so long since we played. So I think if you want to see our numbers continue to improve, we got to go out there and play and win and play well. So it's not something we pay attention to. It's not something I ever deal with our team about or our staff about. It's something that we're excited about. We love the opportunity to be ranked without a doubt, just because of the attention it brings to your program. But if we continue to do things the right way, then that'll be a byproduct.
Have you gotten just some feedback from other coaches just congratulating you on so far a great season, even the UMass head coach that you're about to take?
Well, no, I think what you see is during the season, you get so locked in. You get so locked in, and whether it's me personally or other coaches that we've played or just your friends in the profession, you get so locked in, and it becomes so routine based. You don't have a whole lot of conversation, within the profession during the season. Now on the recruiting trail, where you're interacting with them a lot, and whether it's convention or maybe it's guys that you've worked with or played with or done some different things like that, you'll get in and share some thoughts. But during the season, everybody's so locked in on their own team, not a whole lot of interaction.
With that being said, and it been such a while since you played, do you take the opportunity to kind of look back and see whether or not in your mind the Sun Belt Conference is what you thought it would be at this point?
Well, I think our league's improving, and I always make a point to talk about the level of coaching our league, because I think it's improving, getting better every year. I think it's more competitive top to bottom than it probably ever has. I think there's a couple teams at the top, App State being the team that maybe has separated themselves a little bit. I think Ark State's probably the hottest team in our conference right now, and we're fighting. We understand that we still got to play the best teams in our league. So I think, and I said this earlier, I think the narrative on our story, on our season, is still unwritten. I think how we perform these last 5 weeks will really tell if we're a contender or a pretender. And if we go about our work and continue to get better, and that's the thing that we've got to do, is in our current state, we're not good enough to win our league. If we're no better than what we've played against South Alabama, we're not good enough to win our league. So, and that's been our message to our team now for the last week and a half. So we've got to continue to get better. Our guys have bought into that, and we've asked them to live with their edge for 34 days. And if we do that, then we've got a chance to be standing at the end.